Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for joining me again. Day 67 of Take a Journey with Me. Today I'm going to be speaking about Ruth with, of course, Naomi and Boaz and others in the passage in that book of the Bible. Like Esther yesterday, Ruth has a whole book in the Bible. And it's only 4 chapters, basically, I think 85 verses. Ruth was from the land of Moab. When Naomi and her husband Elimelech moved there from Bethlehem, their sons married women from Moab, Ruth and Orpah. Naomi's husband and both of her sons, however, passed away in a very short amount of time. So all 3 women were now widows. Naomi told both of her daughters-in-laws to return to their families since they were from there, the land of Moab, because she was going to return to Bethlehem. Orpah agreed and went back to her family in Moab. Ruth was insistent on going with her mother-in-law, Naomi. Once back in Bethlehem, Naomi returned to the community she was from. They did not have much food at first, but Ruth began gleaning in fields for barley. Shortly thereafter, Ruth met Boaz. He was a kinsman of Naomi. Ruth was faithful to Naomi as though she was her own mother. With more to gather from, Boaz was very impressed with Ruth, and he insisted that she glean in parts of the field with more to gather from. When Naomi realized whose field Ruth was gleaning from, she was well pleased. She then helped Ruth with her plans of capturing Boaz's full attention towards herself. Their plans worked perfectly, and he desired to marry her. Boaz decided to marry Ruth. Of course, many details are in between the 4 chapters, but this is my summary of that beautiful book in the Bible. The lineage of Ruth and Boaz includes that of King David, and especially more important is that a woman as Ruth, a Moabite, is loved unconditionally by God equally as he does the Israelites. As with Purim and the reading of the book of Esther, the Jewish community read the story of Ruth at the Fest of Pentecost. Pentecost will be celebrated June 5th this year, 2022. And this is something that I gathered from a website that I think will be very helpful. The Hebrew name for the festival, Shavuot, which means weeks, refers to the fact of the festival that takes place exactly 7 weeks after Passover. The English name Pentecost is based on the Greek word for 50, expressing the same idea. The festival is the 50th day after Passover. The first reason why Ruth is read, the book of Ruth is read on Shavuot, has to do with the agricultural calendar. 3 pilgrimage festivals found in the Hebrew Bible, Exodus 23 verse 14 speaks of this, mark important moments in the annual agrarian cycle. Passover is the beginning of the barley harvest in April. Pentecost is the end of the wheat harvest and the beginning of the fruit harvest, June. And Tabernacle is the end of the fruit harvest, October. The second reason why Ruth is read on Shavuot concerns the genealogical information at the very end of the book. Ruth and Boaz are married and have a son by this point. As we mentioned above, they got married. Regarding this boy, the text says they named him Obed. He became the father of Jesse, the father of David. You can see this in Ruth chapter 4, verse 17. This makes Ruth the great grandmother of King David. This is perhaps the main reason why this light-hearted pastoral study was included in the canon in the Hebrew Bible. The connection with Shavuot is King David, according to post-biblical Jewish tradition, was both born and died on Shavuot. See Ruth Rabbah chapter 3 verse 2 and the Jerusalem Talmud Beitza chapter 2 verse 4. So it makes sense to read about David's genealogical line on his birthday. A third reason why Ruth is read on Shavuot has to do with Ruth's courageous decision to voluntarily enter into the nation of Israel. Refusing to allow her mother in law to return home to the land of Judah alone, Ruth utters words which among the most famous in the Bible: "Do not urge me to leave you or to turn back from following you. Where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die. There will I be buried. May the Lord do thus as to me, as so to me, and more as well, even if death parts from you." Chapter 1, verses 16 to 17. The fact that Ruth rejects Naomi's offer to stay in Moab using the Hebrew verb to afflict demonstrates how truly willing she was to join the Jewish people. She had to endure physical rejection by Naomi, even, and going so far as to cling to her, chapter 1, verse 14, and a lot of controversy when she first arrived in Bethlehem. But all full accounts, she became Jewish. But I don't think there was a full conversion, but she lived as a Jewish woman. This book, The Story of Ruth, has been written about in many books today. And so many women, I've been included, we say that we're praying for a husband just like Boaz, right? And that's what some of the books are written about her, or about, like praying for Boaz, so forth. What I learned from this is not finding a man, however, but instead, and more so actually, to become the woman like Ruth, worthy of a man as Boaz. Boaz will not just, a man like Boaz, will not just magically appear in our lives, at our footsteps. We have to do our part and become a righteous woman of God. But being more godly women is truly a daily practice. But I tell you, the more you do so, it becomes easier each day. Yearning each day to read more of God's word and to become more Christ-like. These are women that are worthy of a man like Boaz. I so sincerely love learning more about biblical history, Jewish holidays, as well about women as Ruth and Esther yesterday. Everything in the Bible is relative to our lives today if we just run to the Bible for answers to all we are going through today. We can find the answers in that Bible. We just have to look for it. I hope you're enjoying this, and we'll talk some more about women in the Bible tomorrow for Women's History Month. I love y'all. God bless. Bye-bye.